other thing I can think of is that sometimes.
We are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. We are here, Vintage with Vintage SF. Sorry, literally liminal. Hello, this is the live show. Today, we're joined by Richard from Vintage SF. Chris is having audio difficulty, so you will see him possibly in the background shaking his fist at his computer, but you won't hear him until he gets it resolved. We'll hope that will happen at some point, but we'll just have to see. So that'll be an interesting little side sort of thing that's happening in the corner there for you, is to see Chris struggling with his computer.
This is how you know that it's live.
That's right. We know it's live. And humorously, he just had used the same setup yesterday, and he said it just didn't work out. I mean, it worked out fine then, but today, for some reason, it's just not working.
Yeah. Actually, I was with him yesterday. We were doing 3 episodes together with Steve from Outlaw Bookseller. One which is going to be on my channel, one will be on Chris's channel, and then Outlaw Bookseller has one for his club members room. So it'll be for those who are part of that room.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you guys end up talking about, if you can say?
Yeah, of course I can. Both Chris and I were doing a buddy read on Indoctrinaire by Christopher Priest. It's his first novel. And Steve is somebody that Chris has wanted to work together with for quite a while. And he suggested, hey, would you be okay with me inviting Steve into this as well? And I said, of course. Steve was actually a friend of Christopher Priest. And so he had a lot of background information about Christopher Priest. And I think I said this is his first novel, the debut novel. And so we really had a great conversation. We did a spoiler-free review, just a few things about the novel on my site. And then we do a deep dive on Chris's site, which will come out on Saturday. Mine will come out on Thursday. And as I said, for Steve's, we had another chat, which is in his private members area. So if any of our viewers are part of his private members area, they'll see it. But otherwise, I guess it's a big secret, a non-reveal here at this point.
Right on. So so if anybody's interested in that thing on Outlaw Booksellers channel, then now would be the time to join. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got a lot of videos in there. If you enjoy the Outlaw Bookseller, there's lots you can see there.
Yeah.
I see we got a bunch of people in here.
Oh, yes, we do. All right. I see Pulp Mortem. I don't know if I can try and highlight comments, but I don't think I can. Nope, I do not have that.
Well, I can see Jake there. I can see Mr. Gygax. It's great to have Gary Gygax with us.
That's right. I noticed that before too. Same thought.
Whiskered warriors. I'm not sure if I'm a warrior.
What's up, Brian?
Secret Fire is here.
All right, Tim, how's it going?
I see Tim.
Aaron, hello. How's it going?
Lots of highs coming in here. That's great.
All right. Hey, what's going on? Just for anybody coming in right about now, we're live, but Chris is having some audio difficulties, so you'll just see him struggling with his computer and his audio equipment. And Richard and I are just going to chat. We're just going to go from there.
You know that Bob Dylan song where he holds up signs while he's singing? And
that's only he had the signs ready. That's great.
Did I hear
testing?
Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at it. All right.
I have look at this bright silver Yeti I've never used.
There you go.
Hey. So awesome.
We're using the new Yeti. Hi, Richard.
Hey, great to see you and hear you again.
You already mentioned that we recorded with Outlaw Bookseller. That was super, super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Did you show Indoctrinaire?
I did. I have it hidden away back in my shelf here. But he was challenging us to read A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah.
He wants to get together with Chris and I and talk about A Boy and His Dog by Harlan Ellison. So that's why I decided to throw those up there.
Oh, yeah.
2 versions, I understand. There's sort of an original novella that is collected in the nebulas here, but I understand it may have been reworked for the Beast. What's this called?
The Beast who shouted love
at the heart of the world. But it may have been reworked. So I want to ask him at one point which one he wants us to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that. I've read it from The Beast That Shouted Love at the Heart of the World before. Really great story. Had a movie is made as well.
Yeah.
So that is pretty infamous and famous, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that story. It's really, really great sort of critique.
Speaking of movies, I was looking at the title that you put to this live stream, and I'm going, really, I should be in episode 4 if it's going to be called A New Vintage.
You're right. You're right. Oh. I was kind of like at the rush to make that thumbnail, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I just worked up 3 or 4 images. I'm like, well, here's a host of them. Probably maybe one of these is good. If not, I don't know what else to do.
Well, I'm glad that I'm on New Hope. That's great.
Yeah, I like right.
Poor Nick had to be the first one.
That's right.
Are you going to go with a Star Wars theme now?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was honestly just like a spur of the moment thing when I was doing the thumbnail for Nick. And then for this video, it's like we just needed a thumbnail. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do a similar theme, maybe we'll rework it. So I don't know. I thought it worked. We liked the oxymoron of a new vintage. So
that's true. Although I'm constantly defining what is vintage, and I say it's a moving target, really.
There you go. So it works even better than we thought.
I kind of think of it as, say 35 to 40 years old. So we're in 2025, 40 years is, 1985 to 1990 now is hitting that vintage area.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on going.
I forgot.
I think the same is for me.
I forgot in my thing video to show off the Barlow's guide.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here he is over here in the ice. And then here he is, half dog.
Now,
every time I make a video, there's always something that I pull down. I'm like, oh man, I forgot to show off that.
Now, did you say in that video that he was like really young, like early 20s when he made this, or even younger?
So it was in the mid 30s when he wrote
okay.
Pandora and Frozen Hell is what he originally called.
Actually, I was referring to Barlow's.
Oh, Barlow's.
Yes, he was very young. His parents were
Barlow's, man.
Yeah. His parents were natural history illustrators. So they did like dinosaur books basically, and like prehistoric life and stuff like, and probably like nature books as well, for illustration. And he had that same talent and sort of was like critical of sci-fi books that he read because his parents and he were all science fiction fans, and he sort of decided like these images on these covers of these books don't match the description at all. I can't remember what the really egregious ones were. So he just made, I don't remember what the original book was, but there was one book he redrew the alien and mailed it in, and they're like, you want to do a whole book? He's like, okay. And so the editor on that book, one of the editors gave him this big list of science fiction books, and he just picked 50 different aliens to draw. It was really, but he was super young.
Yeah.
Harlan Ellison is a really funny guy. I like his story about how he met Sinatra. It's a hilarious story. It is a lot of posturing, and I don't remember where I heard that story. I don't know if it was a YouTube video, but if it was from the Harlan Ellison documentary, which is really good. There's a great documentary. Yeah, I don't remember where I saw it, and I think it was Harlan Ellison telling the story. It must have been that documentary, but yeah, it was hilarious. They had a bit of a vendetta after that.
I could see that. The new originals.
The original, the classic, the new original, and the old classic. Science fiction retro activist says,
that's Joe.
Yeah, that's Joe. Hello. You guys do not see who drops in online unless there is a comment. That is correct. I do not have a list of who's watching. I only can see who comments on the videos. But thank you for joining us, Joe.
Yeah, so somebody's here. Let us know you're here. Say something.
Yeah.
Say hello. Hello is good.
Hey, this is Alan. I don't know if you guys know Alan. I know him through another Bibliophile Reads, which is Greg's channel, which is where I originally got the idea for doing live like this. And Alan's also Alan is always on that same show. Greg and Alan do the show together, and it's a great show. I was just live on their show yesterday, which I didn't expect. I just saw that it was an open mic and jumped on. I linked it in a post. If you want to go see their channels, you can click on that. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm on a train on my way back home, back from Powell's City of Books. Okay.
Right on. Taking the train too. That's great.
Portland, Oregon, right?
Powell's? Oh boy, I don't know. Is that Oregon, Alan?
Because somebody has told me I need to get to Powell someday.
Yeah. Yeah, Oregon's closer to you than I am.
Oregon? No.
Oh yeah, that's true, because you're kind of right.
I'm right directly above you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Albuquerque. I'm Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, just above Fargo. If you want to think of North Dakota.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen that movie, so I know everything about Fargo. I know exactly what it's like.
Don't you know?
Just so you guys know, I've got a sick kid in the room here with me. So if I have to run off, that's why. And if you hear nose blowing or coughing, that's her. She says sorry. You don't have to apologize.
No reason to be sorry. It adds the ambience.
Deep in the Reeds. What's Deep in the Reeds' name?
It's Curtis from Deep in the Reeds. That's Chris Reeds' the channel. Yeah, he did a phenomenal video about his exhibition that he has going on right now about the fishing industry. I'm making a video where I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but you can go find that video right now. It's super cool. He just shows the exhibition and he talks about why he chose it and everything. And you get to see all his charcoal work. So good. So amazing.
I'm going to try. I don't know if this works. Is it just Deep in the Reeds, at Deep in the Reeds?
At Deep in the Reeds.
I'm going to just put that in the comments and see if it
okay,
if it works. Hopefully everything doesn't blow up.
It doesn't seem to be a link to me, but I can see that it's there.
Okay. Yeah.
Virgil, actually, I had a question for you.
Okay.
Yesterday you posted a video about Robert McCammon, correct? It looked interesting. That was a werewolf novel?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? McCammon is somebody that I haven't read, and I've read a lot of Stephen King, and I'm wondering, where do you think I should start with him?
Ooh, that's a good question, because this is the first novel of his that I've read. I don't like to say this, but I'll talk, to be honest, my impression of McCammon for a long time was sort of like a Stephen King knockoff. And I know that it might be painful to say that, but that was the impression I had. But I got no Stephen King energy from this book. This book is its own. Honestly, the best comparison I have to The Wolf's Hour, which is the novel, it's from the late 80s, 89, I think, is like a traditional war movie. Like, what's the one with Steve McQueen, The Great Escape? Like, it has energy kind of more like that. It's also very pulpy. It has an extremely pulpy start, with these two characters. They grab like medieval weapons off the wall and they're battling this German like assassin is trying to kill him, and it's the whole thing.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's really very, very pulpy, and then it gets into the spy and espionage stuff, and it's so it just yep, that's it. Oh wait, that's
another one. I'm just showing cover.
There's another one. Okay, I looked like it for a second. Author The Worst Hour. And
it's
then kind of like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Kind of like the same thing that happened to me when I read Shogun was I thought this book's okay, I said it'd be okay, but at some point it just became a really great book. It elevated itself. Just I don't know what happened, and it was really had these really nice moments of like quieter moments where the character is hurt and he's sort of like recovering, and I really thought that those worked so well, and I thought too that it was going to be like he was going to turn into a werewolf and tear everybody up all the time, but it's almost never what he does. In fact, he like the whole conclusion of the novel, where it's just like this big action scene, is you keep expecting him and he like refuses to turn into a werewolf. He like fights as a man or something, and there's some really epic like train fight that happens. There's like this sort of like death train he gets trapped on with this one Nazi sympathizer. He gets on this train. Anyways, just super fun. Just talking about the book again, but I would recommend that book. It's the only one I've read, but it was so entertaining. I just was really impressed with it. And someone said in the comments, and I haven't been able to respond to him yet, that there's a sequel, and there is. He wrote it about 10 years ago. It's a series of short stories that feature the same character. So pretty awesome, actually. I would recommend it. I don't know what Chris thinks about Swan Song.
So I am loving Swan Song, post-apocalyptic, which might be more up your alley, Richard. What's your favorite Stephen King book?
There's a couple. Actually, you know what was just filmed in my province and is coming out? The one where the boys are all running and they get shot if they die. The Long Walk.
Oh,
that's coming out. And so if anybody watches The Long Walk as a movie, that's my province in there. That's is the background playing for, I guess, Maine, probably.
Great book. Actually written before Carrie.
Yeah.
It was written before his first published novel.
But I would have to say 11/22/63 is probably my favorite.
Okay.
And Duma Key is kind of the dark horse favorite for me as well.
Virgil and I'm waiting to hear from Pulp Mortem here in the comments. Pulp Mortem loves Jake loves Duma Key.
Yeah, it's so cool to hear, because I thought that was such a great novel. I love that novel so much. Very understated for a King novel, really.
I think it kind of, sorry about this, Virgil and Jake, but I think it kind of hits us at that middle age zone where things can go wrong in your life, and how can you recover, and going down to the beach in Duma Key. But it is a great story, and it turns into a great ghost story as well.
Well, this is close to The Stand.
I've read it. The Stand.
Oh, good. In fact, it shocked me. There's literally a point where it takes place in New York, and they have to go through the tunnel with all the lights off and all the dead bodies around me. So at times I was like, wow, this is really close, like beat by beat to The Stand. But it is its own thing. I think some people put it above The Stand. I don't think I can do that. Stephen King has a magic in his writing that I still haven't been able to pin down in words. But this is so much fun. I mean,
is it a pandemic?
It is nuclear war.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, there's another one. I think it's something called A Boy's Life that I think people have recommended to me.
Yeah, I got that right.
That's one where a boy finds a car buried in a pond with something in it. That's the only thing I can remember from the blurb.
Yeah, no, I think, a lot of people talk about that one. The one I had here was Gone South, not Boy's Life. And I think a couple of the ones I have here are actually, just making sure that wasn't somebody telling me something was wrong, are actually nonfiction. He did a couple of nonfiction books as well. All right, let's see.
Oh, I see a comment there. That's a question to me. When you put it up, I'll answer it.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, Deep in the Reed says, thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. Verge, you read it without me.
Oh,
that was a while ago. So
sorry.
I don't know what
we're supposed to read it together. I commit way too much.
On live. What have you done, Virgil?
I didn't read the back of the book. Does that count? There's still a little left.
Okay. Deep in the Reeds, Vintage SF. What province are you in? I'm Nova Scotia. Also 11/22/63 made me swear off Stephen King.
Well, I'm in Manitoba, right smack in the middle of Canada. Winnipeg is where I live. I grew up, though, in southern Manitoba on a farm. So I have that experience. And 11/22/63, if people don't know, is his time travel story, and obviously deals with Kennedy's assassination, but it's actually more and more about Lee Harvey Oswald, which he did a ton of research on in creating that book.
Yeah, it's Stephen King, I think, has a few books that definitely fall into the sci-fi genre. Boy, we ended up talking about Stephen King a lot on these, don't we?
Have you?
Yeah.
Remember the last one? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had Nick. I can see Nick talking about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And everybody's read Stephen King, so it's easy to talk about Stephen King. So
It's a great.
I
He's
prefer,
just such an easy person. So many teenagers. That's
Yeah.
one of the first big books they read is something from Stephen King, right?
exactly.
I think there's a whole generation, like an early big book for them was a Stephen King book, probably.
Yeah.
I prefer King's short stories, but
Mhm.
Mrs. Goblin has read all his stuff.
I actually agree. I think his short stories and novellas are spectacular because he's held himself to that short form. And so often those make the best movies as well. If you think about Shawshank Redemption or
Well, see, I
what's
don't
the one-
consider that a short story. That's a novella, definitely.
novella,
It's pretty
um,
thick.
Apt Pupil. That was a
Yes.
great movie from a novella.
Yeah.
What's the one the body was made into? Stand By Me.
Stand by Me.
I mean, just so many of those.
All
And
those are
people are
novellas.
surprised that some of these are actually Stephen King
Can
stories.
you think of a Stephen King short story?
Think of one?
Yeah.
Oh, the monkey and the monkey shine, the rats that are in the bottom of that factory
Yeah,
night shift.
The Mangler. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The Raft.
Yep. The Jaunt.
Oh, yeah,
is
The
a
Raft.
great science
The
fiction
Jaunt.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Night
Stephen
Flyer
King-
maybe was another good one.
Yeah.
I think he sold his soul. That's what I think. I mean, he's good, man. He's good.
And he's like 80 years old and still putting out a book a year.
No.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I've read I can't read
Oh.
this. I've read Boy's Life. It's Southern fiction, coming of age, not much in the way of horror.
Okay.
Interesting. But then Alan said Boy's Life is brilliant. So is Gone South, both not horror.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, Wolfstar wasn't very horror-ish too. I should say that it was more like like a war drama.
It's
Mhm.
so
Yeah, horrific.
Swan Song. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic. It's people fighting each other for food and stuff.
So would you say then he's more like Dan Simmons who can sort of write everything?
Yeah.
Actually, that's a pretty good comparison. I've
And
not read.
Dan Simmons is constantly compared to Stephen King as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty fair. I've not read a lot of Simmons's horror, but yeah, I think his style is probably closer to that.
Yeah, Summer of Night is his big one. King's on Writing is a great nonfiction book. Absolutely.
I've read it. Loved it.
Man, so good. That stuff about Carrie and him getting the telegram that it's sold, and I mean, just so well written and so fun to read about. I got to go grab some Dan Simmons.
That might be the only King book. No. 11/22/63, Duma Key, and On Writing are probably the only King books I've read twice.
Oh, yeah. On Writing was so good. I remember buying that hardback when it came out and just being like, and it's like half biography or autobiography and then half like advice. And it was just it's like it's an extremely rereadable book, you know. I just remember that. What I also think is funny is that I think he was writing from a Buick 8 at the time or something. And he said, oh, a Buick 8 is coming out or something. And then I read that and I'm like, this is not a favorite Stephen King book of mine. I did not enjoy that book very much. It's okay, but it's like,
So everybody will know from the channel, Hyperion, of course, is how Dan Simmons is pretty popular for us in sci-fi. But Summer of Night is supposed to be absolutely incredible. I call them keyhole covers.
Yeah.
With a splash page. I don't know. No. Yeah, splash page. I think Brian calls them step back art. Or anyway, but yeah, this is supposed to be like It. Everybody says if you like It, you will love Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. It's even got like kids riding bikes.
Oh, it definitely is about kids.
Yeah.
I read it maybe 30 years ago, but I can't remember thinking that it was like It or that it was like It.
Well, this came out after It.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It's another one of those that is on my list, like Swan Song, that is people just call kind of a Stephen King ripoff. So, yeah.
No. Is Summer of Night the one where there's like this rendering truck that's going around or something's like collecting like basically roadkill? I don't know.
I remember it more as a haunted house story.
Okay, then I might be thinking of the other Dan Simmons, like Carrion Corpse.
Oh, well, Carrion Comfort. I have that one.
Carrion Comfort. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Somebody,
somebody told me something about it one time and how it was really good, and I'm like, oh, and I could never remember which one it was.
Yeah. And I think that there's sequels to Summer of
There
Night.
is 3.
That's right.
wow.
By
Yeah,
Seaman, I think.
A Winter Haunting. I'm not going to go grab all these because now we're getting into my hardbacks if I go grab Winter Haunting and everything.
I'm just waiting for Jake to make a comment about you grabbing books.
Right?
We know this is going to happen. We know it.
Well, Jake just made an interesting comment, and yes,
let's
I
see.
did just watch this. Did any of you catch Grammaticus's AI video today? Thoughts?
I have
I
not
did.
seen it yet.
I
think
did
it
as
came on my
well.
feed and I saved it. So tell me about it. But I'll still watch it.
Well, basically, he was searching. He was doing a review, his previous review, and then after he was doing that, he was doing some research, and he searched up some people who had done a review of the book, and Ira from SF Words of Wonder was one of them. And then he came upon one which he said that was very short, like 7 minutes long. The uh, the voice didn't necessarily sound like it was AI produced, but it was all images that were on there. And then the voice was going into a description and got the protagonist's name wrong. And he started being really suspicious that there was really nothing being said here.
And
And
the plot was wrong.
that's right. And so he felt that it was an AI. And then he looked into the background of it, and I think it said that there's 34,000 videos over the last 5 years.
2 years old,
2 years?
34,000 videos.
Mm-hmm. And
Way,
so
a huge amount of subscribers.
he never gave the name of the site, and I tried to look up the video, and then he said, yeah, they took the video down. And so
Yeah,
Oh,
because he
wow.
commented and said you got the name of the protagonist wrong, and the video disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AI booktubing. It's a weird topic because I think we're all like, ooh. And that's kind of the depth of my feeling about. I mean, that sucks, and I hope that doesn't take over.
well, one of the ways it was making money for whoever put it up, because even though it would get less than 100 views perhaps on a book, because it put up 34,000 videos, it eventually would add up to money. So it was playing the numbers game of production
Yeah.
versus views,
And
which
I
is a scary thought.
I wonder if half the people watching it are AI. I wonder if it's AI watching itself. Right?
It's
Just
interesting.
Robots watching robots break down books.
It's a little creepy. I don't know. Of course, I've not seen that video. I'm definitely eager to check it out. But I don't know. It seems like it's like such a defeatist stance to take, to say like, here's like why would you want to watch a view done by AI or a view by AI? Because it's like you don't really get any personal take. So it's like you're really just getting like a hacked up sort of blurb. Is what I would think.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
You're getting the best of the internet on that book.
That could or could not be correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, every time I search on my phone now, the first thing that comes up is AI, and then I have to scroll down to see if AI's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can't
see which are the sources for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that we are I mean, not to toot our own horns, but our personalities and who we are and what we bring to it is what makes our reviews more interesting than just going online and reading a quick review, because that would be easier. But you know, it loses out on the human aspect. I think that's why one of the best parts of reading is sharing.
Yeah.
But then my science fiction mind goes into like, is Chris an AI?
I am.
The whole time.
What a great way to fool us by not having a sound there at the beginning.
That's exactly right. I had to get my new robotic voice installed.
I think I jokingly called your brother. Shoot, his name flew out of my head. Yeah, I called him like Liminal Chris. I was like, is that Chris? I don't know. Sorry.
Alan loved 11/22/63.
I watched the TV show. It was great.
I have
Actually, it was not too bad. I agree.
Tim does not like Stephen King. I'm down with that. It's cool. He can go on. He can be a little. He could use an editor every now and again. I believe I can see why people dislike him.
Yeah.
I
kind of think of him and Robert Heinlein the same way. Is that once they got too big for their publishers or their editors, all of a sudden everything kind of went wrong with some of their work.
And they definitely
So
bloated.
bloated. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I've thought that many times.
I have read No King. I enjoyed the Shining movies. I guess that's Stanley Kubrick's, and then the recent Doctor Sleep that was done by, what's that guy's name?
Oh, yeah, he made some Netflix horror
He
series.
did The Haunting of Hill House
That's right.
show, and
Someone in the comments will put his name up.
I loved The Haunting of Hill House, and I loved the recent
The one in the church on the island with the priest who
yeah.
I guess I don't even want to review what the priest was, but that was a spectacular one.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Something like
Mike Flanagan.
Yes.
I had to look through my AI folders to pull that name up.
We have M. Cody McHale has that down there too. So great. Thanks, Cody.
The Mist is his best short story turned movie. Wild ending on The Mist. I know. And Stephen King wishes he was Dan Simmons. All right. We're getting some good Stephen King banter going. Die cut covers. Yeah, those are the ones that kind of stick out. So I think the die cut part would be like this, right?
No, I think it's the hole.
Oh, the keyhole part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Die cut.
That's embossing the other part.
Embossing. God, you guys are awesome. Us AIs, we have to learn somehow.
We have to learn. Just collecting. Whole reason for the live stream.
Summer of Night is okay. I've read several Simmons. Love him. Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe that's not the best place to start.
The Terror is also a very famous one, especially because it was made into a series as well.
I think I have that one signed, actually.
Oh, right on.
I should get up. Oh! Here comes the Book Graveyard. Nick from the Book Graveyard. Step back. Didn't Richard do a video on book terminology? Come on, Chris. That's right. We're dealing with the master here.
The problem is I'm vintage and I don't always remember.
Yeah, those are really great videos. Those like the terminology video is so good. I mean, I was just like, because we all use that terminology, but it's like we sort of like assume that we know what it means by hearing other people talk about it, but maybe they get it wrong. So it's great to sort of say like, hey, wait a minute, just so you know, this is what it actually is.
That's something I have to constantly remember. So say when I just offhand say this is a fix-up novel, I have to remember that this video could be the first video that someone's ever watched. And so I have to define a fix-up novel, which gathers his short stories and creates it into a novel, molds it into a novel.
Yeah.
Phrases like that, just to help along with the terminology.
Yeah. This is not my sign to Dan Simmons, but I have his signature somewhere.
Yeah, it's a really great resource. That video is super useful. Like you said, because somebody hears you say fix-up novel and they think, okay, and they just think that you're just sort of making like a backhanded comment or something about the book instead, but they don't understand that's like an actual term that's used in the industry. So it was awesome.
Or the difference between anthology or collection. A collection is short stories gathered of one author, and an anthology is stories of multiple authors. Things like that. It's cool to keep that terminology current if possible.
What's up, Cody?
Cody, how's it going?
Y'all got to give love to Misery. Fantastic book. And he's
pretty good movie.
Character, wonderful character. I actually really enjoyed the Castle Rock series. I thought it was incredible. And there's
the TV series?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was so good.
There's an episode in there on somebody with Alzheimer's that's using chess pieces to link her memories to know where she is. That had my my mother in tears when she was watching it, and just absolutely incredible. Really good stuff. And yeah, Annie Wilkes is a character that you can dig into. She's wild.
Yeah, it was one of the few times I ever binged a show was Castle Rock. It was just very rarely do I binge. My wife got me to watch all of it like in 2 days or something. And I'm like, okay.
Haven't seen it yet.
Great handle.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Doctor Who, but I'm assuming that's where the handle comes from.
It's from as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he replies with, "I'm anything. Thank you. I'm analyzing Back to the Future as if it's Heinlein."
That's an interesting idea. I'm wondering what Heinlein would have done with Back to the Future if he wrote it.
Right? When they start repeating themselves over and over, you get the feeling it's artificial. Anyone read Drood by Simmons? Okay, I have Drood, and if I remember correctly, it is based on Charles Dickens writing his last novel, which is, I think, called The Mystery of Sir Edwin Drood.
I did read that one.
Oh, you read it? Or
I
the
did.
Charles Dickens or the Simmons?
It's Charles Dickens.
Oh, you read the Dickens.
No. I read Dan Simmons' book about
Oh.
Charles Dickens.
It's thick. Did you like it?
No.
Oh, what was wrong with it?
I found it, Dan Simmons goes down these rabbit holes where he really researches to the nth degree, and it's really part of historical novel. And I felt that he went almost too far with that with Dickens. I did find a lot of interesting things about Dickens' personal life in it.
Okay.
But I got bored at points, and there was a lot of skim reading that happened for me when I was looking at that one.
Thank you, Alan. You found it. That's my signed Dan Simmons.
There you go.
As Drood. Yeah, I was interested in the idea, but I love Charles Dickens. But yeah, it's that bloating. I mean, I could probably beat somebody to death with this.
Alan should tell us what he thinks about it in here. So
absolutely,
yeah.
He might have a video of it on his channel. Okay, let's see. Levi Wallace. Every AI sci-fi story in the past is about how we don't want machines running our lives. Then AI arrives and we all say, "Ooh, how shiny and new." That's valid.
That's technology, period.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. Okay, here's a question for Richard. Have you read Solaris? Oh, have you read the Solaris you have in the background? It is my favorite sci-fi novel.
It's the ones that I have up here are basically the ones that are coming up in my to be read. And they're also ones that I usually have a book buddy read with. And so somebody that actually the three of us were on with, Dr. Rochter. What's his real name again?
John Daniel Otto Jack Peters.
Has a great channel almost exclusively about
Lafferty.
R.A. Lafferty. And so we were on there for a couple of different episodes, and he and I are going to do, this is the first time, this is an announcement right here. He and I are going to do Solaris.
That's great.
And I think he's going to be a great guest or person to collaborate with on that. And that's coming like way into August sometime. But I finished reading two Lem novels with Bart of Bart's Book Space.
Yeah.
And Bart is from Poland. And the last one that I read with him, Fiasco, he had just an amazing personal story about what it was like in Poland when he was young. And with Lech Walesa and the government cracking down on them. And something that he saw within the streets. I won't say too much about it, but so far the two Lem that I've read, spectacular. Of course, Solaris is his most famous, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I kind of deep dive went into for a weird one to start with Lem with Futurological Congress and absolutely adored it. I have a question for you, Richard, that I don't know if you can answer. So I want to read this. The translation of this is a double translation. This original book was translated from the French into the English, and I've heard there's now another one. So, like, do you have to get like a much more modern copy to get a better translation of this?
I don't know specifically for Solaris, but I know MIT Press has been doing modern translations of his work, including Invincible. I was actually able to compare, that's the first one I read, compare the Ace Special Series 2 version of Invincible with, that's the one. That is translated into German first from Polish and then from German to English.
Yeah.
But I compared it with the MIT translation and tried to make some like I didn't read the whole books side by side. The MIT one, while probably getting the translation exactly correct, didn't read quite or flow quite as well, I felt, as the one that was from 1972 there. Now, there was definitely a couple ideas that weren't translated well. Like, I'm trying to remember chapter 2 or chapter 3, somewhere at the beginning there was a big error that I think I talked about in the video. But it was an interesting thing, and I think that you see that in other science fiction, early science fiction, from other countries, is that sometimes it's retranslated from a different language to English.
Yeah, it happened with the Arabian Nights first, or as well. Andrew Garland, I believe his name was, did this first European translation into French, and then the market flooded with everybody translating from the French into whatever language.
Yeah.
Also, there's a video game of this novel that if you play it, it just tells you the story of the novel.
But not quite right.
But
it takes its own liberties. The novel itself, I read Fiasco, which both of these are first contact stories. I think Invincible is the one that I enjoyed the most, although Fiasco probably had even bigger ideas.
I don't think I have Fiasco.
It was his last science fiction novel.
Oh. Let's see. I liked it. He liked Drood. I liked The Fifth Hearth too. I don't know what that is.
I'm not familiar with.
Is that another Dan Simmons, I wonder? I read Mr. Mercedes and Revival from King. I haven't read either of those. I have to admit, I stopped reading King right around 4 past midnight. Everything before that, I read. And then after that, I haven't really read much. I think I started Under the Dome and petered out.
There's a Mr. Mercedes series, which is actually quite good as well.
Was that the one that has Holly?
No.
Holly?
Holly is in there, but it's a different Holly than the one that's the series called Holly.
Oh, okay.
Different actresses. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife has read all those, but I don't know. I have not.
Yeah.
Stephen King 6-hour TV movies are the worst. Yeah, well, it's strange. Like, I watched the Stand recently, and it was all right. I mean, they can't capture it. They can't capture it. The Shining, the long Shining that's supposed to follow the book so much better than Kubrick. And I think it does. It follows the book much better, but you have to watch it. It's really hard.
I have hopes for Flanagan's version of The Stand, though.
Yes, me too. Me too. Flanagan's.
Oh, no, sorry, is it The Stand or no? It's the fantasy series, the Dark Tower series.
Yes, the Dark Tower.
Yeah. Really? They've been talking about doing that for years.
Yeah.
And then here's Cody telling us who.
Yeah.
I'm way back here on the comments. Sorry, guys.
Cody's helping us out, though. He's there for us.
Oh, it looks like Alan's read the Holly series as well. What do you think about it, Alan? Just lurking, unstoppable. It's always good to see you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's our chicken jockey guy.
There you go. Right on. I was wondering.
I'm not sure what this one is. It sounds like a ongoing joke.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's our very first live show, which is a surprise. We don't even count it as our first one.
Is that a Minecraft reference?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the last thing we expected to be talking about on our first live was Minecraft, and that's the first place we ended up.
Right.
And this old mind kept saying Minesweeper from Microsoft when I heard that.
Oh, Cody got me confused now. Okay. So here's A-Top. How you doing, A-Top? Which I think is also Cody. Y'all looking good.
More views. That's great.
Spundin' good. I don't know what spundin' means. Sounding. Oh, well, y'all looking good and sounding good. Thank you.
Okay.
Cody's one of my Patreons. He does great stuff on the Discord. Yeah, that was a sneaky ad I just put in there. The first season of Castle Rock was good. Never seen the second one. Is there a second season?
I've not seen it either. There is.
Well, dang, I was looking for something to watch. I just finished Dark.
Oh, okay. How do you like
that's
that?
a great series.
Oh, no, I lied. I've got one more episode, and then I'm done with Dark. I really enjoyed it. However, I think that it was unnecessarily complicated in the fact that it's dealing with, and this isn't really too much of a plot spoiler. It deals with time travel, timey-wimey. And it gets very familial relations get very confused, and there are a ton of characters, and half the time that I'm watching that show, I'm going, okay, wait, who was that? And then you have to know who that was in which time.
Oh,
And
there
then,
was moments where I thought this is Lost as a time travel story
yeah,
because it had that thing underground which was there.
yeah, and I want to talk about the next thing, but unfortunately, I think it's too big of a spoiler, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it. But
Yeah.
I feel like the end of season 2 added a new level of complexity to season 3 that I was just like, oh my god, because then I had to know all kinds of different stuff. So I'm sticking with it. And I love the atmosphere and the crazy storytelling, but
For viewers who are wondering what this is, Dark is a German series on Netflix that is very much a Twilight Zone extended series about something that happens in the woods in Germany.
yeah,
It's a mysterious cave.
this is why Richard's the best guest.
that's right. He's good.
I'm just going on talking about it like everybody knows what I'm talking about it. Let's see, Chris, my youngest just walked by the computer, pointed at you, and said, "Is that Dumbledore?" Yeah, to the younger generation, I'm Dumbledore. To the Gen X, I'm Gandalf.
Gandalf, I was gonna say.
Oh, good morning from South Korea. This
Hey,
is
what's going on?
Hey,
Chris from. Oh gosh,
Speculative reader.
thank you, Virgil. Yes.
yeah, it's
Uh,
gotta be pretty early over there.
Oh my goodness. I bet.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's different time.
Early. Yeah. Yeah.
I did a collaboration with Chris. We were looking at Shiz Matrix by Bruce Sterling.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot on, hold on.
On music. He has a music channel too.
Oh, he does.
Soundtracker.
Right?
Sci-fi soundtracks, but he's been doing a lot on cyberpunk. Is that the right word for it? Yeah, recently. But he does deep dives into sci-fi authors that are so interesting because he lays out like their bibliography and talks about their life, and they're just absolutely incredible. I wonder if I'll put a link to his channel once this live is over. I'll run in and put a link. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, he did I caught him on Book Graveyard with Nick, and they were talking about pulps, and they talked for about 30 or 40 minutes about pulps, and then they just went into just talking about books in general, like pulp books in general and other stuff, and it was just
Great.
so good. It was, I mean, I'm going to tell you, go check that out, and then go to check out his channel, do both.
Yeah.
So good. I was enwrapped.
Also, there's a point where Chris threw out some words that I was like, "Whoa, what am I listening to?"
He's a writer by trade, and I call him the wordsmith too. When you look at his videos, the words, the phrases that he uses, the sentences he uses are just amazing and in depth. I just love it.
Well, these were dirty words.
Oh, okay.
Because I use some bad words when I'm not recording on YouTube. Sometimes when I am recording on YouTube, but yeah, it's just funny when you just listen into YouTube and suddenly there's words coming out of the TV that you're like, okay, wait, what am I watching?
I think I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Attention.
I was like, well, I guess hopefully Nick's okay with that.
Okay, I gotta say, Levi's right here. Saruman is the wizard that was played by Christopher Lee, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I have very straight hair, so I feel like people that really know Lord of the Rings will say Saruman.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to Levi. I think I saw your last video where you're by the fire talking about that last book. He has a very interesting channel too. A lot of YouTubers are on here right now.
I'm not subscribed to Levi.
Oh, you should check it out.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to. I didn't
Just
realize.
go to one of his comments and click on his icon. You'll get there.
Okay.
And what's Levi's channel?
Oh, I don't. It might be the Levi
Just
Wallace
don't
show.
know.
I'm not sure. I can't
be quiet.
remember. He can say.
He'll say. He'll give it. Advertise yourself.
Yeah.
We're ready for it.
We got two. You guys got to help me remember this. We got three really. Speculative Reader and Levi Wallace. I can't remember who else we were talking about.
Curtis from Deep in the Reeds.
Yeah, we just got to make a list.
We
man.
got Jake. There's
Jake
Jude.
in here. We got
Jude is awesome. Yeah, it's from the viewpoint of Wilkie Collins. Wilkie Collins, of course, another huge Victorian era writer, which I read in school. The Moonstone, I think, is a Wilkie Collins.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I'm not going to run into my room right now.
Yeah.
That's you got to keep that Victorian stuff in your room. Okay, here we go. Timey Wimey Limey says Back to the Future demonstrably has 3 on-screen timelines. Oh my gosh.
Sort of like a Christopher Nolan picture, like what's the World War II one?
Yeah, the one that my brother said he hated, and everybody got super pissed off at my brother on YouTube. And then he said he liked a Star Wars show, and then everybody was super mad at my brother on YouTube.
I remember that.
Dunkirk is what I'm thinking of. 3 timelines.
Oh, which one were you thinking of?
Dunkirk.
Oh, Dunkirk.
You have the perspective of a person flying a Mustang. Oh, this I should just actually it was a Spitfire, but this is World War II, Normandy, or a beach close to Normandy, and the people of Dunkirk, or they're trying to evacuate all the British soldiers, and the village of Dunkirk sends people to with their boats, like family, try to come and get them. And then there's a story on the beach that's told in a certain timeline. We have the story of the people from the village coming to try to get their boys, and then the story of a person in a Spitfire trying to defend the beach. I liked it. It was great. In fact, it may be best movie for me from Nolan.
Interesting. I've never seen it.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I think Inception.
Interstellar is a big one.
Interstellar. Yep.
All the Batman movies.
Yep.
Memento. Is Memento his? Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Memento is like his first. And that's the first one I ever saw. And I mean, to reverse the structure that way of storytelling was absolutely incredible. Really, really great movie. Chris kind of looks like Saruman. Yep, that is accurate, I think.
Nolan's last one was Oppenheimer. Not to be confused with Barbie.
I want to make Diane, first live with Chris. So cool to discover you through Greg and Alan's Monday Live. Thank you very much for showing up for ours.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I want to bring it's strange because I feel like there's 2 groups that I absolutely love that don't know each other whatsoever. I got to see to my sick kid really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Entertain you two. Entertain.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to scroll back up here too and see where he's left off. Timey Wimey is saying back. Oh yeah, we saw that one. And we have the Saruman, Diane.
That was easier than I thought it was.
Okay. A top says, can't wait to read Lafferty.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's just don't have any preconceived notions and go with the flow, man.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
And my personal preference are the short stories.
But I really enjoyed Past Master. I thought that was kind of like, I was just like, wow, this book is just doing so many things right now that I just didn't expect, and I loved it.
I liked the 9,000 Grandmothers short story collection.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, I didn't read the whole collection, but that was a great short story.
I tried to put Bart's book space. I don't know if that worked.
Okay. Well, people can find it through that.
Yeah.
I am so old. I actually saw BTTF in the theater. Wonderful movie. Oh, Back to the Future.
Oh,
That's Constance. Hi, Constance.
hello.
Oh, I'm your age too, Constance. Then
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, but I was like 8 or something. I was young.
what was the year that it came out?
80. I'm gonna guess 86.
Yeah, I was guessing something like 84 or 85. Yeah.
Where's my AI? I lost,
AI machine.
I lost it.
I lost my AI.
I don't know where my phone
phone
went.
That's just to fool everybody, so they think you really.
All right. A-Top is saying, I'm going to say Chris is more akin to Gandalf the White and not Saruman. I appreciate that. I like that character much better.
We got the yin and the yang here of
That's right. All right. Deep in the reeds. Then I need to finally make a vid on Solarius. Maybe our vids can come out around the same time. He makes lots of references to the surrealist movement, and as an art history buff, I was so into it.
I believe it was early 60s that novel was written in Polish, so that definitely makes sense to me.
Yeah, I read Solaris when I was 12, and I have never seen a film version of it. Should fix that. Yeah,
Not from what I've heard.
well, it's weird. I liked that original. I think it was Russian, wasn't it? That original Russian movie. There's a long part of people just driving around on the highway that I know is supposed to be very artistic, but for me, it didn't land, which doesn't make it bad. It just makes it so it didn't land for me. But yeah, the film itself I felt was really incredible. But I haven't read the book because I want to find the right translation. I don't. Everything I've read says don't read this translation, and this book's worth a ton, but I want to read the translation that his people has said they approve of, which is a much more recent one. So I'm gonna just have to go to Barnes and Nobles. It's so hard to go pay $17 for a book. I know that sounds ridiculous.
No.
But after used bookstores and yard sales and estate sales, like somebody asking $17 for a book is hard.
There's university presses that do a great job. MIT Press, I assume, is a university press for MIT.
Uh-huh.
And I know that Nebraska puts out a series of books. I think they're called Bison books, which some of my viewers have been telling me that I should really try and find some of their science fiction as well.
Right on.
Are they doing old stuff or is it modern?
It sounds like it's more classics,
cool.
but I don't know.
I really like the original Russian version of Solaris. I really enjoyed that. I have not seen in years and years the George Clooney one, but neither here nor there. I don't know where I got this information from, but I remember hearing something about the director for the original Solaris made the beginning of the movie boring. I think this is of course paraphrasing what I heard, so that the idiots would leave, and then the rest of the movie and then that's when the movie starts, is to drive everybody else away.
I can see that. That makes sense to me.
Not a Hollywood model.
Right.
I tried to look that quote up more recently. I couldn't find it.
Who's the director? He's huge.
Yes, very, very important Russian director.
Who did Roadside Picnic?
Same guy.
Stalker.
Sure.
It's the same guy that did Stalker. Yeah, he's huge. What I remember about that movie, I enjoyed it very much. It's super spooky, really wild movie. They had like a full library on the space station. Like it looked like my den here. Like they had this kind of stuff, lamps and sculptures. And I was like, how did they get all that stuff up in space? Like, how did this happen? No, it's a great film. It's a classic. And the book is apparently incredible too, but I'm going to wait until I can read the translation. Just got home. I feel the same way y'all do about Drood. The Terror is my favorite horror novel, possibly. Now, is The Terror about people getting stranded?
That's up north here, north of me, northern Canada, trying to go through the northern route. And
Passage, I think, is what you're trying to.
That's right, the Northwest Passage, and it's a ship that gets trapped in the ice, and it's
Oh.
based on real history again.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to remember the names of the ships. They'll come
Yeah.
to me probably after we're done our feed here.
Right.
But it takes that true story with lots of things that we found archaeologically that since that time from this trip, but then weaves it into a story that includes supernatural.
I just read The Captain of the Pole Star by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and it sounds like you're describing that story as well. It's scary, stuck in ice, Arctic, terrifying, supernatural. It's really fun.
Well, if you come up and visit me in winter, we can give you some of that experience here in Winnipeg.
I want to. I've always wanted to go to Canada. All right. Nick says, oh, there we go. Man, Richard is so knowledgeable. He is by far the best guest you've had so far. Isn't he, though?
I disagree. I think that first guest was great.
The first guest had a nice mic, and it sounded really good. Oh, my gosh. Nick, you missed it. I had audio trouble at the beginning of the show. My mic was not plugging in. So I feel you, man. The book graveyard, Levi says, stiff competition. Absolutely. Oh,
That was a good pun, Levi. I got that.
here comes a deep dive. I'm currently reading Love, Death. I loved Hyperion. I've got some maybe mixed or fixed feelings about the novellas in Loved Death. I'm going to go grab that.
Oh, is that a Simmons book?
Yes.
Oh,
I think I have a short story collection of his, but I don't think that's the title of it. So it must be something else.
I think there's one called Phases of Gravity that
might be it.
an early collection of his stories.
I don't know if this is a short story. Love, Death.
Hmm.
And let's see if it's a short story collection.
I don't know. Yeah. Simmons is behind a whole other thing here. So I can't see it.
I liked your library tour. I can picture that bookshelf in front of you now.
Right.
Novellas. Yeah.
Novellas.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be a fun place to start on Dan Simmons.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah. Yeah. After these, I usually have to eat dinner and then come back and clean. Just put books back on shelves.
I literally had to do that before I recorded this. I was like, okay, where does all this stuff go?
The Langoliers TV adaptation is hilarious. I remember not being able to sit through it when it first came out. I bet now I could enjoy it as a laugh much more than at the time.
I think I've said before that I always love a horror story that's set on a plane. And it was at the airport that this plane had landed or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Express. Yeah, I've not read the Langoliers. It was one of those King stories I saved and was going to read but never had. I don't know if it's worth it or not.
This
all of a sudden became the King cast here.
No.
I think that was partially my fault at the beginning.
Here comes Richard, I think Unstoppable saying Richard Matheson's adaptation of Stephen King's short story Battleground is phenomenal.
So it is Richard Christian Matheson, who's Richard Matheson's son.
That's correct.
So he distinguishes himself from his father. He did there was a Stephen King TV series, like where they had like hour-long dramas of Stephen King short stories, and they had one for Battleground, which is based on I believe it's the same title for the Stephen King story. I believe so. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But that is really, it's a John Hurt, not John Hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody Hurt. I can't remember the actor's last name. There's no speaking for the entire hour of this drama. And it's all about this assassin who gets sent a package after he kills the maker of this guy who's like the head of a toy company. He gets sent a collection of army men. And what happens from there, which is a battleground, right? Really great. And there's some really great sort of like callbacks that Richard Christian Matheson writes in to Richard Matheson's short story Prey and the movie the movie of that with the little statue, the Zuni warrior, is that right? Little, yeah. There's some callback. In fact, that same figure appears in there. It's totally, go find that.
Trilogy of Terror, was that?
Trilogy of Terror. That's it, with Karen Black.
That was one of the scariest. That little doll, Zulu warrior doll, that scared me. That, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of the movie Monkey Shines. That scared me so bad. There's a guy that is in a wheelchair and has a little monkey that is trained to help him, and then the monkey goes psychotic, and it's just jump scare after jump scare, just terrifying. And that's what that Zulu one felt like. I'm glad you were here to explain that, because it would have been terrible for poor Unstoppable to try to be writing.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that one with Karen. I can't believe that Karen Black Trilogy of Terror appeared on TV. You watch it, you're like, this was on TV.
Yeah,
like it is intense, super intense. And then that Richard Christian Matheson screenplay he did for that Battleground is definitely worth checking out. Definitely go find that. I wish I could remember what is the actor's first name, but great. And I love too that it was like, it's basically silent. It's all this really great visual storytelling. So just fantastic.
Yeah, that makes me think of Cat's Eye as well by Stephen King.
I've not seen that in super long.
That's the one where they did Quitters Inc., where he had to quit smoking and he signed up and they started like going after his family if he snuck a cigarette.
Yep, I remember that.
The ledge, where the guy had to walk around the ledge of the building. Oh my God, that was stressful.
Yeah, I remember those stories, certainly.
Yeah.
You know what? I would just want to mention, I love Christian's father, Richard Matheson, because I'm a huge fan of the original Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
He was part of that, and his stories before that. I actually am reviewing a book coming up from Richard Matheson, where I said Richard Matheson was Stephen King before Stephen King was Stephen King.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I feel it's very true. I think Stephen King really, at least at the beginning, modeled himself after Matheson.
Yeah, and a little bit of Shirley Jackson. I want to throw in as well, which is my favorite from that era. Shirley Jackson is outstanding, but there's also Robert Bloch. It's weird. There's this era in horror that is, I feel like people kind of jump from Lovecraft all the way over to King, and there's a lot in between that's really incredible.
It really is, yeah. And speaking of horror stories on a plane, of course, Matheson wrote that Terror at 10,000 Feet, which is the most terrifying thing to imagine if you ever go flying, right?
20,000 feet or something, right? Yeah.
While we have Richard on as a guest, I do want to say you guys should go to his channel, click videos, click oldest, and watch his first video where he does a take of what was it called? Time Enough at Last, the Twilight Zone episode, Time Enough at Last, which was always one of my favorites. And Richard, I think, wins for best first video. Like, if you go watch my first video, it sucks. It's terrible. But Richard's is really good. He has a killer first video. It's really worth a watch.
Awesome.
I have to say I am pretty proud of it still. Mic sound isn't the best. There's lots of things that I grew on there, but the concept that I did, entering in retirement and starting up a YouTube channel, it worked out really well.
Really smart. Really awesome start. Let's see. Most of the King adaptations made for TV are guilty pleasures. Agree. They're what I did in the 80s, man. Richard thinks Minecraft is when Germans talk about their favorite mac and cheese. Minecraft.
Got it.
I always,
a good one.
Whenever my daughter says she's playing Minecraft, I always say, "Whose craft?" And she says, "Mine." Okay, that's stupid. Don't ever tell anybody I told you that. All right, here we go.
Is your daughter cringing on the couch there?
Yeah, she's got her headphones on. The Soviet TV version of Solaris is great and available on YouTube. Not as good as Solaris, the original film, but then again, nothing is. I stumbled across this TV series of Solaris, and I watched a little bit of it, and it is interesting. And you're right. It's who is Lawrence? Thank you for joining us, Lawrence. It is interesting. It's different. You can't go in expecting the same level of art. I think, is it Adrian Tchaikovsky? Is that the director?
Ooh.
I think
That sounds like the author of some science fiction of the modern days.
I think that's the director of Solaris and Roadside Picnic. I might be so wrong, but yeah, it's an interesting TV show.
I think I'm going to avoid watching any Solaris. I think I did see the George Clooney one, which I've tried to wipe out of my head. So go into fresh, and then maybe afterwards I'll do another take on some of the movies.
It's the same reason I don't watch anybody's YouTube videos about a book I plan to read until after I've read it.
Yeah.
You just don't want that influence.
Tim just can't handle Levi.
Chris Live has a whole different energy. Yeah, I think Live's a little bit more fun.
It is.
And I think especially the idea, which I got from Greg and Alan, of not having a topic. And I know a lot of people have asked, are there topics to these live shows? And I mean, a topic doesn't hurt, but I like just how kind of we can go anywhere with these live shows. And I really like the fact that all I have to do is sit down and turn it on, because I love reading books and I love talking about books, but sometimes I can get overwhelmed with, if I want to work with this person, I have to read a book. If I want to work with this person, I have to read a book. This is just a wonderful way to be able to talk to people that I love talking to without having to do, hours of homework.
And it's so fun to talk to the commenters as well. It's a great open forum that way.
Yeah. To be able to meet the people in the comments. I don't even know Lawrence, and I'm sorry if you've been commenting on my channel for a while and I'm like, what the hell? This guy should totally know me. But I mean, I love seeing all these new faces and new people.
It's great. It really is.
Time travel, you say? Oh, okay, here we go. This is a good one. Have you seen Babylon 5? My favorite show besides Deep Space Nine. Ellison is credited as a creative consultant. He also wrote 2 episodes. I'm going to leave this to you guys.
That was my first great love in science fiction in the 90s, probably since way back to original Star Trek and original Twilight Zone. There's a series that's not so great that I enjoyed a lot, was Space 1999 in the 70s.
Heck
But from then on, I would say that Babylon 5, because it was basically a novel on TV, was awesome. Just great.
I've never seen it.
Neither have I.
It sounds like I need to, because I love Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it's a space station, but we're talking about the Shadow Wars. We have this war that's coming. It's an impending thing, and then I think it's season 3 it hits, and season 4, and you just get very invested in the characters and the political structure of the station, and then this threat to all of them that is coming, and yeah, it goes crazy once that war starts.
I think it would be considered a space opera, right? By the sound of it.
Pardon me?
Is that would that be a space opera?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be classified something like that. Okay. The only thing I can think of that's close to it is the remake of Battlestar Galactica in some ways as well, in terms of how well it tells its story. Yeah, that's Michael Straczynski, I think, is the creator of that.
Dang it, Jake! I have been grabbing Dan Simmons. I think I've gotten up more this live than. What do you want from me, man?
He wants you to have a workout.
I'm getting one. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff. I got stacks
already.
I got Robert McCammon over here and Dan Simmons. I didn't run in and get Stephen King because that go to another room in the house.
So yeah, I haven't seen Babylon 5, but I recently, for some reason, decided to try out an old sci-fi show called Lex. I don't know if everybody remembers Lex. Mm-hmm. And that's a very bizarre show. Super
it's a
bizarre.
Weird one.
Really weird. Is it worth it?
It's hard to say. It sort of is because of how weird it gets, and it has sometimes some big name actors like show up for like longer cameos, but just super weird. Like and it has a little bit of the Skinamax type thing too going on, right? So it was an adult show, but it's not like heavy in there. It's a space opera about this guy who's like dead, but he's brought back to life as like the final assassin, and this woman who was supposed to be made into like a bride, but she, like, in the process of like changing her body or something, or like mind wiping her and making her like completely submissive, this alien bug comes in the room, and so she has part like alien bug thing going on in her brain, and so she's like a seductress, but she's also like has like this predator aspect to her brain going on, and she's in love with the guy who's dead, and there's another guy who's like a regular janitor, and he's like the only person who can pilot this like most deadly weapon in the universe, the Lex, which is this giant sort of dragonfly looking ship, although you could also maybe think that it doesn't look like a dragonfly, it looks like something else. I'm not going to say. But and he's the only human, so he's the only one who can pilot it. And then there's like this guy who's just a TV screen. He's just like a TV screen. It's just his face or something. It's super weird.
You guys watch Red Dwarf?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So it's not trying to be funny. It's just weird.
Yeah, that sounds like what Red Dwarf was making fun of.
Maybe.
You might enjoy some Red Dwarf, Richard.
I think I probably would.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it is a comedy, but it is a really good time. All children are wonderful, but German children are kinder or kinder. All right. Mortem is Jake is a good time, man. I enjoyed the miniseries version of The Shining, much more mature. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, Constance, only just because I couldn't take the actors. I just didn't like it as much. I don't know. I think I was too old when it came out. I don't know. It didn't sit right. Did you guys watch that? That's the one I was talking about that Stephen King made that follows the book much closer, and a lot of people swear by it for that. But yeah, I didn't much care for it. It's 9 a.m. In South Korea. Speculative. Oh my God, I am so far behind. Speculative Reader is great reviews. Absolutely, he is.
Yeah.
It's 6:47 here in Thailand. There is coffee. All right, from Thailand, Lawrence.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, Lawrence.
Yeah. 11:48 here in New Zealand, I'm guessing. Yeah. Very cool.
Awesome.
This is great. Checking in from around the world.
Yeah, this is so cool.
I hear New Zealand, and I think Lord of the Rings was filmed here, which is from the Flight of the Conchords.
You know what you brought up? I'm gonna bring it. You brought up Flight of the Conchords. They just did something on their channel because they have a YouTube channel too, and they're short. And like, our first album is going gold, and like they're holding up their very first album from like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. It's going gold. It's blowing up slowly. And they have like a gold version of it now, or something. You can buy the gold LP. I thought it was hilarious because
I love that stuff. That kind of humor really does it for me.
Totally.
All right, Mr. Mercedes, The Outsider, a couple others. Then If It Bleeds, short story. Then Holly series. Okay.
And the next one coming out, I understand, is another Holly
I
story.
read that too, and it's coming out the end of this month, right?
Pretty soon, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Richard, I appreciate how you keep dropping context in the midst of the conversation. Keep these guys on track.
Thank you.
All right. I'll take care of them, Alex. Thanks.
You're now the Wrangler. Ooh, John Brunner coming up on the Speculative Reader. That sounds fantastic.
Oh, that's the German pronunciation. I think he's English, so I think it's Brunner.
Oh, Brunner. Okay.
Yeah, I started off with Brunner. I even rolled the R and somebody corrected me.
He's on my list of shame. I've never. I know he did Stand on Zanzibar, right?
Yep, that's right. I've read The Jagged Orbit, and I've read, I think it was called The Whole Man. Interesting telepathic one.
Yeah, the Stand on Zanzibar intimidates me just on the shelf, that thick, staring at me.
I'm going to take it down just like I took down Moby Dick one day.
And
that doesn't sound good the way I said that. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
I think there's ads in the book, right? Didn't he do like the prose is constantly interrupted by ads? It sounds brilliant and cutting edge. And you're right. I just gotta jump in. But man, it is a thick book.
He did several books like that where it had, it's kind of almost like a multimedia presentation, would have news stories or ads or different things like that that reflect what this world is about.
It's really interesting.
I should get up, but that one I have to actually get a chair and reach to the top of the shelf.
Oh, if it falls on you, you're dead.
Yeah, seriously. I don't have any Bruner in hardback, it looks like. So no, Jake, I'm not going to get up.
He's just waiting.
I don't have anything to do that for, so.
Okay, let's see. Speaking of cyberpunk, it's Bart. Hey, Bart, how are you doing? I'm sorry that we're probably like an hour after you've made this comment.
Right. He's like,
speaking of cyberpunk, I just started Neuromancer, long overdue. All right, I'll get up for that one.
Yeah, Neuromancer's good.
Here, I can get up for that one too.
I think I have two, actually. I haven't read it.
You haven't read it? Oh, look at that copy. I like that copy.
Yeah.
I like Richard's copy. I like yours too, Chris, but I like Richard's copy.
That's all right. Richard got
that perfect aesthetic. Very cool.
I think this is the first paperback cover.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you might be right, Richard.
This is the first printing, and it was a paperback.
Okay. All right. This is an ace, but I don't think it's the first. Is that an ace?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think this is.
Yeah, it was part of the Ace Science Fiction Special Series 3, and the hardcovers came out afterwards. It's actually a very sought-after copy that I found in the wild, but I still did have to pay, a bit more than $1 for.
So that's a first that you have there.
It is. It's a true first. Yes.
Wow.
Looks really good condition too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. I got to.
But anyways, Bart, I really look forward to hearing what you think about it, because it's in some ways a really difficult read, but I think it's become easier now that we've actually taken on the terminology that's introduced in that book.
Yeah, I had a buddy read it, and he said he just had a very hard time with it. So yeah. I know that they're coming out with a series soon, and I feel like we should all have read it by the time that series comes out, because it'll be fun to talk about the series, I think. Mm-hmm. So I got it on my list. I'm gonna have to read it. That's why I have two copies, because I don't want to crack that spine, even though it's not a first.
I didn't read this one either.
Right?
Yeah. He basically, William Gibson invented the genre of cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Which is,
I would say he kind of consolidated it into a piece that is recognized as really the seminal first kind of work of it. But there is cyberpunk type things. Well, Chris has even talked about what's that Lawrence Manning Manning book from the 30s. There's sort of at periods of cyberpunk really is about what's real and entering into a simulation, and so there's lots of stories about that prior to this, but this is one that really links it very solidly with the computer virtual reality.
Right.
Yeah, it's more like it crystallized the idea.
Yeah, brought the things together.
I think was Burning Chrome came before that, right? And I think I think they call that the first
Johnny Mnemonic was out before Neuromancer, right?
Which one?
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes. Well, Burning Chrome actually came out afterwards, but it was a collection of short stories that were short stories from before Neuromancer.
Okay.
So in that way, all those stories led up to it. And there's one story within there. Was it Johnny Mnemonic? There's a story where Molly is in the story.
Johnny Mnemonic, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was published in a magazine before Neuromancer came out. Yeah. Speculative Reader says, thanks, guys. Great channel.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey-limey class name. Absolutely. Neuromancer is a life changer. That's coming from Cody, so that's awesome. Cody does great books on the Discord.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who are in virtual reality and gaming, etc., that Neuromancer is just kind of that one of those peak experiences in their young years.
And I think it's probably the most recognizable first line in the sci-fi book of them all. I mean,
I'd argue there's a few others, but yeah, it definitely is.
what are the other ones that you can think of?
Well, I was just thinking about Christopher Priest, and Inverted World says something like,
Oh, you're right.
I am
I can.
500 miles old, something like that.
That is good.
Oh, that
And
is iconic.
it takes age and equates it to miles, and you have to read the novel to figure out why it's said that way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
The-
Yeah. Alan and Greg were talking about, they had a live where they just read famous first lines of novels, and then people had to guess what novel it was. And I was thinking of a sci-fi version of that and how fun that would be.
We should play that game.
Yeah.
What's the
Have me on,
you gotta play it a little bit because I just thought of something. There's this really iconic first line to a sci-fi short story. I don't remember who. I can't answer my own question. The last man on Earth sat alone in a desk, and there was a knock at the door.
That's a short story by Frederick Brown, I believe. That's the story. That's it. That's the whole story.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
There's
There's a follow-up line. There's a maybe so there's a Frederick Brown. So then
I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's Frederick Brown.
Okay. Because I've heard a story where that keeps going because the second line was very anticlimactic.
I think somebody probably added to it or wanted to have a reply to his story.
Yeah, then that must be it. But yeah, it was a very iconic, like moment. But there was a short story, I can't remember what collection I've read, where that was the first line, and then the second line, you're like, okay, kind of like flipped it a little bit, and then the story goes on. I don't remember the whole story. I just remember that first line.
It's so perfect. Last man on Earth and a knock on the door. I mean, it's just.
That's great.
That's great. That's the best Stephen King short story right there.
Yeah.
If you ever think of it, right?
The second line that I'm thinking of was it was the last woman on Earth or something like that. And you're like, okay.
Oh. I couldn't quite stick it out with dark. Yeah, Constance. There's a point in that show. We're talking about this German sci-fi show. There's a point where people have a wall with all the pictures of people from different times and stuff all connected. And I swear, in order to really enjoy that show, you need to make that wall yourself as well that you can always refer to so you know what's going on at all times.
I bet there's somewhere online that they have them all of the different ages. It would help actually to sort of have as a scorecard.
Yeah. The Outlaw Levi Wallace.
That I think that's the name of his channel. I think that's what he's referring to there.
Oh,
yeah.
So if we just type at the Outlaw Levi Wallace, it should bring up his channel.
Yeah.
Or that's fantastic.
Or at least close enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to that when we're done here. Will the Neuromancer series be crap? Place your bets. I need to know who's directing it.
It's going to be different. They can't do it exactly. It's not going to be set in the 1980s. In terms of the technology that they talk about.
Is TV Plus in the 80s?
Oh, well, no, I mean, it's not set in the 80s in terms of the novel itself.
Right.
But it's just like science fiction novels that are written in different decades. I sometimes think that it would be better to see it in a retro form.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of if you have a novel that has, let's say Tau Zero, if you wanted to do a film about Tau Zero, about a spaceship going faster and faster and faster and faster and seeing what happens, I'd love to see that with that old 1950s, 1960s type of spaceship and people in uniforms or something like that. That's what I'm referring to.
Who does Tau Zero?
That's Paul Anderson, I believe.
Paul Anderson, okay.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time with that one too. Yeah, I don't know. I loved Severance. I bring it up on every live show. Nobody ever talks about it, so I think I
like it.
Oh, did you watch it, Richard?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I like that, and I like the ambiguous ending to the second season.
And I feel like, and everybody disagrees with me, but I feel like that would have been a fine place to end. I'd be okay without a third season.
I kind of wonder if they thought they might be finished after that season, and that's the way they wanted to end it.
Yeah, but there is a third season coming. Yeah. But yeah, I really liked the ambiguous ending. It reminded me of Murakami. It really did.
Well, one thing I'll say is Foundation on Apple TV is very, very loosely based on Asimov's Foundation. It's like they took sort of the same premise, but then went completely in a new way with it.
I watched the
Um,
first one, I think, and then kind of petered out.
Yeah. And so I have a feeling Neuromancer might be somewhat like that. I kind of doubt that we're going to get the resolution in space that we had in Neuromancer.
Virgil's channel is at literally books.
Yeah, sorry, my little thing is like a little joke. Probably shouldn't do that. Probably should do it in brackets, but I didn't.
Literally Virgil.
Right.
Yeah, at literally books is Virgil's channel, and it's fantastic. So I think you're gonna enjoy it. Dunkirk. Another.
Yeah, that was when we were talking about the Christopher Nolan movie.
Like 6 hours ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Not quite that long ago.
Another show that I liked recently that was sci-fi, of course, Love and Robots, which I think has a new season out, which I haven't seen yet. But all of those are based on a lot of short stories from popular science fiction writers. And then I liked Electric Dreams on Amazon Prime, which is based on Philip K. Dick's short stories. And it's done in collaboration with, I think, Philip K. Dick's daughter.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and there was some good stuff in there. I really enjoyed that. Jason and I had this massive plan that we were going to read all of Dick's short stories, and Jason was the one going through the first book, and then I was going to go through the second. And every time one of the stories was connected to one of the Electric Dreams, we were gonna talk about both of them, and then he got a better job. So,
he got a better offer.
That's right. But I still want to read all of Dick's writing. I do. So I'll hopefully be going over. But yeah, if you're looking for a sci-fi fix TV show and you haven't watched Electric Dreams, it's a good time. It's like Black Mirror, but not as dark. Like every once in a while, Black Mirror is too much for me. I have to take a break because it's like reading Harlan Ellison. You read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and you need a minute. Because it's just so intense. And yeah, so there you go. That's sci-fi stuff. What have you guys been watching?
Go ahead, Richard.
I was just going to say I just saw the last season of Black Mirror, and I would say it's not as intense as previous seasons. More science fiction-y. It does have a sequel to the story where there's a sort of a people are captured into a starship simulation that I'm trying to remember what the actor's name is that's in there.
I don't think that was the last season. Are you talking about the one where the guy is a captain and slowly his kind of awfulness comes out?
That's right. And he brings in some of his people in his company in there. There's a sequel in this latest season that just came out.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually quite good. And then there's some very more poignant, interesting storytelling. I didn't think that it was as edgy as it has been. If you aren't into edgy in terms of Harlan Ellison, this I think it's like the 7th season already. Paul Giamatti is in there with an interesting concept where they're trying to rebuild memories from photos with a little device that he presses against his temple. And it has a very interesting end to it. And it's a very gentle story. It's definitely not a horrific story in any form.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And Virgil, what have you seen?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, first, before I forget, I really enjoyed what I've seen of Love, Death, Robots. Is that right?
Yes.
I really liked it. So I'm very excited to hear that there's a second season. I just didn't miss that.
I think there's a third.
Oh, wow.
I think this is the 3rd season.
Well, then I got lots of watching to do.
Yeah. I may be wrong.
Let's see. I just finished not too long ago. Common Side Effects.
Watch that.
One of the creators for that other animated show that was originally on was it HBO or whatever?
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's Reign. That's it. Thank you. One of the creators for that, and then I think also Mike Judge, together are doing that. And it's all about this mushroom that can cure any ailment, and how this guy finds it, and how essentially it's like extremely dangerous for him to try. He wants to give it away for free, so that anybody can have it. Anybody who's ill can have this. But of course, like big corporations don't want that to get out, and so there's all these people, like the government's coming after him, and he has assassins after him and everything else. Humorous and really entertaining. So that was really good. And then last night I just watched a movie called Boiling Point, which is not a sci-fi movie. It's a crime movie from Japan about this guy who works at a gas station, and he essentially pisses off this Yakuza guy. And then I think his boss or something is like a former gang member, and there's a whole confrontation there, and it is directed, I believe, and stars, or at least in part, Beat Takahashi.
That's why you were bringing Beat Takeshi up in the Discord.
Yeah. So he's in that. He's like, so this whole thing's going on with this gang that where they're at, and then they go to, I don't remember where if they go to Tokyo or where, but they go to this other Yakuza guy. I think it's Okinawa, maybe, where there's like a U.S. base or something. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I watched this movie. I really did. And there's this other gang, these other group of Yakuza there, and they're going to buy some firearm, or buy a gun to bring back, so that they can shoot up these other Yakuza, right? And Beat Takashi? Takeshi. Beat Takeshi is a Yakuza in this other area, and he's just like out of it, just like completely bonkers. It's like both humorous and terrifying at the same time. His performance is like very, very striking, and I wanted to see it mostly because I saw like a little clip of near the end of this conclusion. They're bringing these flowers. He goes to this field and he picks all these flowers up, and he has like this weird crown he makes where he makes these flowers in a crown, and he's wearing it in the field, just acting really random. He takes that off, and he has this bouquet of flowers he brings to pay off the money he stole from the Yakuza where he's at. And inside of that, he has a machine gun, and the machine gun accidentally goes off. And, it's like, and everybody just is sort of staring at him, I guess, because there's no other firearms around, so he's the only one. And so then they shoot everybody up. But it's just crazy. It's a crazy movie, but it was really interesting. He's known for his really interesting cuts and sort of like cutting away from the action.
I think he's inspired by John Woo a little bit. That kind of stylized action where you, I think Beat Takeshi kind of picked up from where that left off.
It's definitely very interesting. A lot of interesting choices as far as cuts go, and what he focuses the camera on and what he doesn't focus the camera on. Really, really, really interesting movie that we got free through Hoopla. So from Library Stone, that was kind of cool. Anyways, that's what I've been watching. Sorry, long time.
All right, Unstoppable says, I honestly thought you and your bro were trolling us when you were talking about how much you love Star Wars post Lucas, but hey, I didn't judge. Yeah, the truth is, I wasn't a part of that video, but I didn't mind it. But the truth is, honestly, I'm a Star Trek guy. So when Star Wars comes into my life, I watch it like, oh yeah, that's a fun action adventure. So I don't give it probably the respect that it is due to how much people do love it, because for me, it's not my favorite. All the way around, like Star Wars in general, which is funny because I think up here I have like a Boba Fett head. I don't know if you guys can see that, but no, yeah, I prefer the Star Trek. I always have. Speculative reader says The Prestige, great movie.
Christopher Nolan, and also Christopher Priest is the author. And I've done a video where I talked about how if you like the movie, the novel's better. It really is, and it is different in terms of it has two. There we go, is a copy of it. It has two storylines of the two magicians, but it also has a modern day storyline of a descendants of them that is interspersed with it, and there's a modern time ending, which is great. We know the ending in the movie. It's different the way it resolves in the magician's time, but there's also a resolution in the present day.
I can't wait to read it because I really did enjoy that movie, and I heard that Nolan was kind of a jerk to Christopher Priest. So
I had a quote. Yeah, I had a quote about that in the video I made of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lawrence says, oh no, Cody says my favorite is The Prestige. And that's Nolan's first movie, Memento, was his best. I think I would say that The Prestige and Memento are my two favorites. I don't know how I could figure out which one was better. Punkface says Oppenheimer was terrible. I didn't watch it.
I saw it, and
Yeah.
I can understand why he says that.
Yeah.
Or her. It was at a. I don't know sure if that was a male or female, but yeah, I understand.
Deep in the Reads is correcting us, and that's good. Chris Nolan's first movie is Following, which also has mixed chronology, and I haven't seen that one.
He really is timey-wimey himself, Christopher Nolan. So many of his movies.
Yeah. Hot take: Batman Begins is Nolan's best Batman movie. I don't know a lot about Batman. Oh my god, everybody's gonna be like, this guy doesn't like anything cool.
It's his best Batman.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
It's his best Batman, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Tim says. Batman Begins is Nolan's best Batman movie.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought he meant overall. Then that really would have been a hot take.
Yeah, no, he's just saying best Batman.
Okay, I agree.
The liminal extended universe.
Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, Nolan suffers bloat, like the writers you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the longer he's creating movies, the more bloated they are. I think that they're more tight and concise and have that hard edge in the earlier ones.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like, and this is something that happened because of listening to my brother talk about them, because he's much more knowledgeable about movies than I am. If it entertains me, I'm happy. Whereas with a book, I'm super picky. But Nolan's movies are really fun and entertaining and visually beautiful, but if you stare at them too hard, they just kind of fall to pieces. And I think that's really true of his modern one. What was the most recent one where people were going backwards?
Tenet?
Yes. Like the gimmick in that was all there was. And I was like, they're going backwards. This is so weird. And then, my brother's like, well, what about this and this? And I was like, oh God, because they just fall apart if you look at them a little too hard. The only Nolan movie I like is Memento. Unfortunately, his remake of Insomnia is decent too.
I always forget that Insomnia is from Nolan, but I have seen that one. It's based on if I'm thinking of the right film, Robin Williams in there, and it's based on a King novel that I've never read.
I've read Insomnia. I didn't know there was a movie of it.
I didn't either.
Wow.
I like having the knowledge base here online because they can always correct me if I make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
1985, Back to the Future. I was a year off. I had to go back 1 year. Chris is indoor Grizzly Adams. My buddies, when I first started growing my beard like this, used to call me Chrisley Adams. Enjoying Necromancer so far.
Neuromancer.
Yeah, different novels.
Tarkovsky.
Thank you, Unstoppable.
And I think it's Adrian. Now somebody's gonna have to comment again.
Yeah, that's right.
Tarkovsky.
But that's the director of Solaris and the Roadside Picnic,
which is
movie. What was it called?
Stalker. Solaris and Stalker are great Tarkovsky films for me personally. Yeah, I agree. All Tarkovsky films are great except possibly that one I haven't seen. I've only seen the two, so I don't feel like I can really say.
Yeah.
Bill Johnson's translation of Solaris is the more recent one, and I don't think that's the one that is here. And I don't think they're going to tell me very easily. No, translated from the French by Joanna Kilmartin and Steve Cox. So I need that Bill Johnson one, Bart. I think that's the one I've got to find.
Now you have me curious. I'm going to get up.
Yeah, you got to check.
We did it.
Got to go eat dinner. Thanks for the entertainment, y'all. The chemistry is kicking in here, literally liminal for life. Thank you, Cody, for your dinner.
Probably already gone. But
yeah, he's probably already gone. That was
we're catching up in the comments a little late.
I haven't seen Stalker. It's based on the book Roadside Picnic, which I haven't read. Both of them I feel are great. Not everybody agrees, but I think they're both incredible pieces of art.
And didn't you say there's a decent difference between the movie Stalker and the book, isn't there?
Yeah,
a tone difference.
Yeah, and I think my brother and I talked about this ages ago in one of the videos, but we talked about it's impossible to make a book exactly like the book into a movie. Translating from page to screen is going to have differences. I always think of the Lord of the Rings and the fact that most of the Lord of the Rings is people sat around a fire telling of the crazy wild experiences they had earlier. So of course you have to get rid of that one layer of narrative in a movie and just show the action. So yeah, I believe that Tarkovsky made that story his own and changed the ending to do so. And I feel like both of them are great pieces of art, and it makes it so that you can enjoy two different stories. What'd you find out, Richard?
I found out it's a totally different translation. It's by two people, Joanna Kilmartin and Steve Cox.
Same one.
Oh, is it?
That's the one from the French. And that's my problem with Solaris is I want the person Bart's talking about, and it is so hard to find. But the estate, I think, has stated that they prefer the one Bart mentioned and not this one that's from the French. So
wow.
I want to read I had to do the same thing with Roadside Picnic. I have a wonderful old copy of Roadside Picnic that's kind of the iconic one. And unfortunately, I had to stop reading it and go buy a new one that had a more modern translation, because this translation was based on a manuscript that was censored by the government. There were certain things taken out of this translation, so you have to get the more recent, I think 2011 is when this was translated last. So you want to get that one when you read it to get the story as the Strugatsky brothers intended.
Well, I may have to find another copy of Solaris then.
Yeah. I'm sorry to throw this on you as well, Richard.
That's okay. You know what? I prefer to have that before August, before I look at it with our friend Daniel Otto Peterson there.
That's right. Daniel Otto Jack Peterson. Nicole, I met Nicole yesterday live on Greg and Alan's channel, and she had the best background out of all of us. She had some kind of pulsing LED light. I have subscribed to her channel, but I have not watched anything yet, but I hope to soon. Go check out Nicole's Bookish Nook. I enjoyed being live with all you guys yesterday. That was super fun. Okay, here we go. Richard's copy of Solaris is the translation that's well regarded. It's by Kilmartin and Cox. The Russian film is by Andrei Tarkovsky, incredible director. Andrei Tarkovsky, thank you. I have to disagree on the first part. I think that people prefer the more modern Solaris translation and not the one that is by these two, Kilmartin and Cox, which is based on a French. Yeah, translated from the French by Joanna Kilmartin and Steve Cox. I think that you want to find the one that is the one that Bart said, which I'm going to scroll up and say it again, which is Bill Johnson is the translation of Solaris that you want.
Yeah, the translation copyright that I have within my book says 1970. So it's definitely a very old one.
Yep, that's the old one.
Yeah.
And then he fixed his spelling of Tarkovsky, which I never would have noticed. Haha, Virgil, he was trying to bore the censors. Do you know what that's referring to, Virgil?
I'm trying to. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. The is referring to the film Solaris.
Oh,
he was trying to. There was. I can't remember where I got this comment from.
No, you were. Yeah, you were saying that he tried to get rid of the people that weren't there for real by making the first part boring.
I think, I mean, I looked it up, I tried to find that quote, and I couldn't find any talk about it. But of course, sometimes there's like this barrier between your search and what it wants you to really look at,
right?
Some advertisement or something instead of what you're trying to find. But so I don't know, but I want to say that that's something that he said, that he was like, well, now he's like, well, I'm gonna just be really artsy, do what I want, and then people will leave, and then they'll get to see the film.
Yeah.
What's that term when we remember something? All of us remember something, but it actually didn't happen. There's an interesting term. It's not deja vu, but it's a mistaken memory that seems to be popular.
When the whole world remembers something wrong.
Oh,
I figured.
collective hysteria?
No.
Well,
Collective hysteria is a very good answer.
I'll wait for the comments. Somebody else.
There's the something effect.
Yeah. Mandela
effect.
Because there was some sort of memory about Mandela that everybody had that wasn't true, apparently.
Right. It was Sinbad's. No, Shaq. No, somebody did something with a movie. I don't know. I got to stop. The Terror is incredible, says Bart.
Oh,
he had a review of it probably a couple months ago, I think.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
The nonfiction of account of Shackleton's adventure is awesome. The Endurance.
That's the Terror.
Oh, that's the Terror. Okay.
Yeah. The ship's name is Endurance.
Roadside Picnic is available on YouTube as an audiobook, and it's a classic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that is awesome.
HMS Terror is the name of the ship.
I think there's 2 ships involved, so I think, yeah.
And this is Timey Wimey Limey speaking to Lawrence. Thank you. I hope my forthcoming time travel bookie wook lives up to it. Bookie wookie. Winnipeg is hardly ever colder than Mars.
Hardly ever.
Richard Leduc. I don't know who.
He's a fellow Winnipegger. I met him at the book sale that we had recently here, that I was talking about on my channel.
Richard,
that's awesome.
That video hurt my head so bad. There was so much stuff I wanted there, and you were just scrolling through, and I was like, oh, because how much were they?
I was thinking that what I need to do at the next sale is get the permission of the people who organize it to say, with 5 hours left or 4 hours left, to send out a live feed like this and see if people want me to pick up books, and then I'll pay for them $1 each or whatever it is, and then we'll arrange for mailing them.
I like that idea, but awesome. At the beginning of the sale, not the end of the sale.
Yeah.
Make it $2 a pop at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so much incredible stuff you had at that sale.
They base the pricing on the cover prices and when books came out. So it's not based on the value you might see on eBay for a book,
sure,
which often is inflated anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of great deals there. And I'll just plug, if you're in Winnipeg, October 18th, we're doing a 1-day pop-up sale again of books that are donated. And I help sort through donated books as well prior to the sale.
So is everybody in Winnipeg named Richard?
The good ones.
That's a good answer.
Sorry, guys. You all right?
Sorry.
Was H.P. Lovecraft really the first to write ice expedition horror? No, Mary Shelley, I think, beats it by quite like 100 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm going to mute for a second.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think, was it in Lovecraft? Doesn't he talk about Poe's story? Poe's only novel. I've not read it, but I think it also was a Antarctic type thing, or I don't remember.
And would you consider Mary Shelley's? I mean, him chasing the monster across the Arctic is. I think that counts as ice expedition horror. I mean, the novel opens with on an Arctic exploration, right? And ends.
I haven't read it in a long time. That's one of those reads I have lined up in the future.
I read
a decent amount of time on it.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of time spent in that area, in that geography. So, and I love that end scene where the one character can finally look the wretch in the face and talk to him.
Yeah.
And then, and without being completely overwhelmed by it. So I always love
This
that.
one's for Jake and Nick.
He's going to get his copy.
Oh, here, wait. Maybe
All right. Virgil's going this time.
I'm going to get something. I don't think I
So while these guys are away, what should we talk about here, YouTube?
I'm just going to show off.
I have found the greatest copy of Frankenstein ever. This is from the pulp era, and they tried to make it a pulp novel. Look at Frankenstein in the back there with his red shirt, all unhappy that he killed that lady on the bed.
That is pretty damn funny.
I think that's got to be the best Frankenstein copy ever.
Well, I'm just going to show off mine, which I love, which is Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. It has the entirety of the text, but it's got all these illustrations by Bernie Wrightson. He did them all in the style of art at the time when Shelley was alive.
Ooh.
So everything, it's got some just gorgeous art in here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really worth. I don't think you can get this particular version of it now. It's a little smaller, but totally, it has all the text for Frankenstein. If you're thinking about reading Frankenstein, I mean, you could do a lot worse. Let's see. I could show you another image. There's a really good one in here. I think it's all, is it woodcut? I don't remember.
Yeah, woodcut engravings.
So I love this image too, because there's no actual raindrops in this picture.
Oh, wow.
It's just the streaks of blank spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will get up.
Okay, how do I go back to normal here? There we go. I'm learning this. And
actually, that centering a person on the screen is a good. I tried doing that with some of the ones I've done.
Yeah, trying to watch the comments, and
oh yeah,
I wish that I could make it so that you guys had the same control I did when we did this.
So a couple years ago for Christmas, my wife got me a present, and it's the lab scene.
Oh,
that is fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. This is was it I'll be with you on your wedding night is the scene this is from. And it's really great.
And the artist's name again?
I'm sorry. That's
artist
Bernie
name?
Wrightson.
Bernie Wrightson. Wow.
He was known for horror comics. A big horror comic. He did a lot of work with Stephen King. He did the Images in the Cycle and the Werewolf.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the a couple of the Dark Tower books had Bernie Wrightson illustrations. I know those particular ones, but he did so he did all that was a project that he did. He did I think he also did some Swamp Thing. I want to say maybe he came up with the Swamp Thing, but I could be wrong about that. Let me put this back.
I walked all the way to my room to show off the let's see, I'm gonna move this like that. Yeah.
And that's the one that has Bernie Wrightson in there?
Yeah.
That's all Bernie Wrightson art.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it. It's like every other page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, and I really loved werewolf stuff when I was a kid.
I think I like it better in black and white than in color.
It's some amazing black and white art.
Yeah.
Incredible. So much stuff to put away. Okay, let's see if we can get through some of these.
Sure.
Fantastic stream, great comments, cheers all. Bye. Thank you, Lawrence. You won't even hear that, but
Nope.
maybe if you watch later.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come back later, right?
Yeah. William Hurt, Unstoppable said, I don't even know what that's.
That's the actor from the Stephen King story Battleground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just no voice acting, all like a visual storytelling in that really worth checking out.
My beard looks like it's blowing to the side. I don't know why it's doing that.
Maybe it's all that coughing on the side.
Right. My father was R.C. Matheson wrote a book. My father was a god, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
I feel like Matheson. Oops, come on. click on up there. I feel like Matheson is the Rolodex link between King and Bradbury for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep. What are the panel's view on the Deckard question?
This is from Blade Runner, right?
Yes.
Whether he is.
Yeah. I think if you read the book, that question isn't important, but Blade Runner is its own thing. And I feel like what's the name of the sequel? I really enjoyed the sequel.
Blade Runner 2049.
2049.
Denis Villeneuve.
Didn't he age? And wouldn't that just straight up mean he's not a replicant, or do replicants age?
I don't think they live long enough to, do they?
Right. So I feel like the minute that they cast an older
Harrison Ford,
thank you, Richard, that we knew he wasn't a replicant, but I don't know. I think that there's people that think about this question harder than I ever have.
Yeah, I've only watched the second movie once, so I'd have to see it another time or two before I'd be able to give you a good opinion on that.
Yeah.
So I think it's only like 7 or 8 years or something. It's a real low number. It's all the replicant lives for.
Okay, Unstoppable says, I loved Lex. And then he says, Australian?
I think that's right, yeah.
I think it's actually a Canadian series, but I think it starred some people from Australia.
Oh, interesting.
Perhaps.
Yeah. There you go. Lex is a crazy Canadian show.
Yeah. Is one of those, when Hollywood came to Canada to film a lot of shows, it started, I think, with X-Files. This is one of those sort of original Canadian ones as well.
Yeah. Lex with 2 X's, if anybody is looking it up.
Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. It's funny because we don't really have the kipper thing here in the States, but I remember listening to Supertramp's album, Breakfast in America, and there's a song where they mention kippers a bunch. And so that's like my only connection to knowing that kippers are something to do with breakfast that I associate with the UK.
I always think of Amsterdam or in Netherlands. They seem to have a lot of smoked little fish that they would sell in different markets.
Oh, okay. Farscape was an Australian-American production.
There you go.
I'm trying to go quickly through these. Now,
Farscape's a different show, but yeah, that's true.
Chicken tikka masala, yum. Winter Mute, Gibson. Okay, people are. Oh, I don't know what this means. Winter Mute, Gibson blazed a new trail, definitely. Something to do with
Neuromancer, probably referring back to somebody else's comment.
Okay.
There's a Winter Mute.
Simulation and Simulacra.
Those are PKD novels.
Oh yeah, Simulacra.
Yeah, I need to go back. I haven't read any Philip K. Dick in a long time, and I really want to read that. I don't really know if it's supposed to be a trilogy, but okay.
That's a nice copy.
So the first book is Valis.
Yeah, Valis.
Yeah.
So
Divine Invasion, and then
Three
something else.
Stigmata of Timothy Palmer, I think, is one of them.
I've never read the third one.
Is my favorite Philip K. Dick that I've read so far. Just yesterday on the live with Alan and now I've forgotten names. Greg, God damn it. Anyway, Radio Free Abernath is Albemuth is a earlier version of Valis, and a lot of people say you should start here and then read Valis.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Read it years ago. Really liked it. Read Divine Invasion. Yeah, it's been a long time ago, but I want to revisit it because I never got to the third book. But that sounds awesome. Maybe I'll start.
A lot of people say it's the Valis trilogy is the kind of hardest Philip K. Dick to understand.
I loved it. It was weird as heck.
Yeah, I love it too.
I'm not there yet in my reading.
Excuse me. I hope I'm not getting the whatever the kid has. See?
Sorry.
Sound exactly the same. The 8th World Futurological Congress was held in Costa Rica. You'll never guess. That's the Futurological Congress. Come on. He's giving us to us. He's playing the first line game. Okay, so I think this is the story you guys were talking about. It's called Knock, and it's by Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I absolutely cannot abide ambiguous endings. I guess it's a taste issue. Absolutely. I have found that to be the case. Some people can take it and some people can't. And it's just about taste. About Neuromancer, Gibson said the only person to have a good shot at doing the book justice was Chris Cunningham, UK music video director, also worked with Kubrick on AI, but it fell apart.
Well, Gibson's still with us, so it'll be interesting to see if he's involved in the series.
Yeah. Chris Cunningham is awesome. I love his work. Bandersnatch is fun to watch. By the way, in my opinion, what is Bandersnatch?
I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I think that might be an episode of Black Mirror or a movie of Black Mirror.
Oh, okay. Back to our Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Thank you, Unstoppable. It's always good to see you. As a visual novel dev myself, Bandersnatch was a fun experience to watch. I wish they would create more interactive movies and shows where we get to choose our own stories, branches, and endings. Now, I wonder if that's so. I do remember Black Mirror came out, and I had to use my remote, and I could control where the show went. I wonder if that's Bandersnatch.
I think it is, but I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, Star Trek for life. All right.
On that note of interactive media, there is a really good thing that it's probably most people have seen, but if you haven't, it's worth checking out. Markiplier, the game streamer, he did a Markiplier in space, and at the end of your videos, a YouTube video, it'll have like suggested videos, and those suggested videos are the link to a hidden video. And you follow the narrative. It's very humorous. It is interactive. Totally worth checking out. Markiplier in space. I know my kids and I watched a bunch of Markiplier, but totally a good time. Very funny and real weird. And I mean, totally worth it. There's 2 parts, but every the suggested video at the end is where you make your choice. And there's a lot of video game sort of in jokes and sci-fi references and stuff. That's just awesome.
I have heard of this style of doing YouTube where you have 4 choices in the 4 corners to where you go next. That sounds like an awful lot of work for the creator in terms of creating all these videos.
Yeah, it's produced like a movie. He had like a whole video production.
Look what I found.
Oh, Zork.
Look what I found. Speaking of choose your own adventure.
That's awesome.
Don't know it.
It's some Gen X right there, man. It's
Oh,
a your own adventure based off of really old video game. And it's got wonderful pictures in it that are just incredible. And
I love that.
I was talking to Nick and Book Graveyard, and he said we should all start a pool. We would put $5 in and see who can get the farthest in Zork. Okay. Prestige. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Prestige movie had a horrible ending. I have not read the book, so I don't know if that is in relation to the book. Also, it depends on where ending is. If you're talking about the David Bowie stuff, and I don't want to spoil anything, how a certain trick is completed, I thought it was incredible. So I don't know what part of the Prestige ending you're talking about.
I would say that the movie was a little bit more brutal than the book.
Okay.
And that's where it actually changed from the book. And I prefer the book.
Okay.
Now, but I still enjoyed the movie. I'm not saying anything against the movie in that way.
Because the movie was the first version of that art that I saw, and I loved it. So I'm a tiny bit nervous to read the book, but I'm loving Christopher Priest. So
I think you'll be fine. I saw the movie a long time before I read the book too, but you'll be fine.
Yeah, I like the movie quite a bit. So,
Timey Wimey Limey, are you really Christopher Nolan?
He'll be happy we've been talking so much about him.
Right? Seriously. Everybody's gone. We're just reading comments by ourselves now.
Yeah.
No, there are still 25 people with us.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, seriously. LOL. Yep, I was mistaken on the Solaris translation. I hope I have 2 copies and referenced the wrong one. Yeah, I need to get that other copy. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I would like to read it as well.
Frankenstein is definitely Arctic horror. The ship Captain Robert Walton is stuck in the ice when he picks up Victor. I agree. Yep, absolutely. And I can't find anything older than that. So the real question is Frankenstein the first Arctic horror? And I think some people say it's the first horror, first sci-fi. Like that book did so much.
Yeah, I think was it Omnivorous Reader said something that I didn't know. The idea that we get that of Frankenstein being the first sci-fi novel was from Brian Aldiss.
Billion and trillion year spree. He definitely, that's where he starts. That's what he nails as the first science fiction. It can be anywhere, right? There's so many fantastic stories all through history.
There's something from like, I don't know, something like 200 AD or whatever.
Yeah.
This fake travelogue book. I probably went too far back, where there's this person is shot into space and there's planets. The moon is fighting Mars. I can't remember what a strange journey or something. But yeah, you can go back. I mean, there's a Japanese fairy tale called Kaguya Hime, which is about a woman that apparently comes from the moon. And then eventually has to go back to the moon to be with her people, and that was the 10th century. Yeah, it's so hard to trace back. So I guess if we said the first modern science fiction, we could do Frankenstein, but that's always such a weird thing to try to do.
Yeah.
That's an awesome Frankenstein cover, Chris. I love it. It makes me laugh so much. Well, Virgil, that is an amazing gift. Absolutely.
Oh, my wife.
I think one of the things about Frankenstein is it's still readable today. And I think in that way, it may be what you might consider the most readable, older piece that might be considered science fiction.
Now, have you guys ever tried The Last Man?
I haven't. I'm searching for that one.
I have a copy and I want to read it. It's weird that it didn't blow up like Frankenstein did, but yeah, I really want to give it a try.
Me too.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It's strange that she did kind of the first mad scientist and then did the first end of the world post-apocalyptic stuff. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Lawrence back. I had second breakfast and came back. Thank you for all the kind words. Right on, Lawrence.
Right on.
At Liminal Spaces, are those National Geographic zines in your background? No, they are not. They are Daw Yellow Spines. And they have, I'm just going to pull one at random. They have some of the coolest, that's not good.
Except for that one. Wait a minute. Put that one back.
The coolest, God damn, what's going on here? And none of these are great. They do great covers. Daw covers are incredible. Some of the
none of these are great.
They're not.
You just like grabbed the wrong place.
I did. Maybe
These are, oh, wait a minute.
How about a swan? There you go. Kelly
How about a swan?
Kelly Freeze cover.
I think someone told me recently that it's Freeze.
Yeah, that's
I've been
what I
saying
heard
for a long time, but Freeze,
Yeah.
I think is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, just a wonderful collection that has wonderful covers that I just can't help getting all of them, and I doubt I'll ever read all of them. And they're not all wonderful contents, but most of them have great covers and just really wonderful as pieces of art. This is a great live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you, Constance.
Thank
Mhm.
Farscape? Question mark.
That was the show that we're asking about.
Oh, okay.
The TV show.
People are talking. Oh, Amsterdam pickled herring for breakfast. Yum.
Yeah, is kipper and herring the same thing? I don't know. Probably not. But herring is what it is in Amsterdam. Yeah.
Supertramp saying about kippers.
I don't know my little fish.
Right. PKD's Martian Time Slip has an excellent audiobook free on YouTube.
Oh, very cool.
There's more and more of those. Just random people even recording them.
Yeah, seriously, you're gonna get all of my Philip K. Dick out of order here.
Beautiful.
Okay. I don't know. They're having a conversation. Zork. I have that and a few other D&D themed and a submarine one. I think I have a GI Joe one as well. That like was literally, I think, one of the only books that survived my childhood. There's no way I'm going to be able to pull it out because I can't remember who the author was. But yeah, they're great. I always had this idea when I was creative writing in high school that I was going to make kind of a modern mind bender, choose your own adventure book, that was going to be part of the mind bending quality of the book. Oh, Rime of the Ancient Mariner might count as icy nautical horror, although they go south rather than north. It's older than Frankenstein. Yeah, that's really interesting because that is a narrative poem. There's a story there. Yeah, and I think we can count either pole, honestly.
Sure.
I mean, they just get icy.
And these are arbitrary rules that we're coming up with as we go.
That's right. Frankenstein was directly commenting on the futility of the Northwest Passage exploration, which was controversial. Used the story of the monster for comment on our destructive search for knowledge. Fantastic.
Thank you, Kurt.
We've got great viewers.
Well, yeah, deep in the reads. We're are we courting him yet to be on our as a guest, Virgil? Awesome. Frankenstein is one of the books my high school students dislike the least, so I suppose it's still very accessible and interesting to younger readers. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that.
I got a trivia question maybe we can throw to the people who are watching. Why are they called DAW books? I know that Chris would definitely know the answer to that. I only learned it maybe about a year ago. I was very surprised that I didn't figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
it's similar to Del Rey,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't
that's a good
figure
hint.
out for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do these in out of order. You three men are trying to court me. Wait till I tell mom. Any of you tried Baldur's Gate 3? Yes, sir, I did, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I never finished it. What are you doing, Cole? I never finished it, but did you ever finish it?
No.
Nope, the kid didn't finish it either. But yeah, we had
It was fun.
It was fun. Very good time. It'll teach you how to play D&D.
We have a winner here.
We totally have a winner.
Yeah.
Nick Book Graveyard, the other guest.
There's only two of us so far.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, that is correct. It's the initials of the person that started it, Donald A. Wollheim.
Very, very famous editor.
Yeah. And I think he's the editor on those that you were collecting, Richard, while you were down here. Those annual best sci-fi. Yeah.
They're DAW books as well, just in hardcover form.
Yeah, and it's weird because I have them in hardcover. I don't think I can get this.
Mine are right here.
Okay. And here you can see some of these DAW covers.
And you'll see right down at the bottom there's DAW books.
Frazetta on that first one, man.
Yeah, right on.
Can you grab my charger? I don't know where it is. It hurts to walk.
Oh yeah, there's really great covers on these.
Seriously,
hardcover ones. Yeah,
they're incredible. Okay. Let me see.
The person before just was, I think, chiming in that they didn't know what the answer was, and then we got
okay.
Nick.
We've caught up.
We did.
We did it. Yeah, you guys really make these shows. I love how we're able to kind of drive these comments like this. It's incredible. It really makes it a lot of fun. Nick, thanks for watching to the end, man.
Yeah, right on.
No, I hope everybody's not too hungry.
Good after supper for me. I'm good.
Richard, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Well, we have you were with me on Monday. We have Indoctrinaire with the wonderful Chris of Liminal Spaces and Steve of the Outlaw Bookseller. We're going to give you a good teaser for the book. Then if you would like to watch on Saturday on Chris's channel, we'll go into a deep dive.
Yeah.
So that's coming up.
I finally got to chat with Stephen E. Andrews, and that was super fun. That guy knows a lot, and more than I do. And we have our likes going the same way with fiction and with music. Really fun.
Awesome.
Virgil, what you got coming up, buddy?
Let's see. I'm about halfway through NIFT, and I'm about halfway through Peter Hamilton's Pandora's Star. So, which is a beast.
Okay.
So
that Arcturus video that you made was incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You used the thumbnail was incredible. You used the word psychedelic in the title. That should have blown up. I don't know what happened.
I know. I try to follow your advice.
I'm serious. That should have blown up. That is like
it's whatever. It's okay. It was such a rewarding read, and it was so rewarding to talk about it. So, I don't know. A really great book, really great, and just not a book I think a lot of people talk about, and just so incredibly creative. I couldn't believe, like we're just gonna make up colors right now, okay, and then just use them throughout the whole book, and it was so entertaining. And then of course it gets really, you do feel like you get into the deep end of the pool at some point, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you guys haven't watched it, go watch. It's kind of spoiler free. I don't think you spoil the book in any way.
I don't think so, and it's not. It doesn't really have a. To say it has a narrative. I mean, it does sort of have a narrative, but that at some point is not really as important as what it's trying to talk about.
Yeah. I'm making dinner right now, and Constance says curry. Yeah, dude, curry. You guys got me wanting curry now. God, I love curry.
Oh, somebody else wants curry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys know what's coming up on my channel because it's all with Richard. And I think that's all. Anybody else got anything?
This was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I was glad to have you. This is super fun, and we're just going to keep doing this. So if people want to be on, I mean, seriously, email us. We're going to be running out. My goal is to also go after Wheel of Genre. I don't know if you guys have watched any Wheel of Genre videos, but they recently read all of Harlan Ellison's Dangerous Visions and went through every story with a fine-tooth comb. It's incredible. So I'm going to try to get those guys. But yeah, if you're interested in joining us, let us know. And Richard, seriously, it's always good to talk with you.
Yes. Yeah, always fun.
All right. And I'm sure you'll be on here again. We'll do the loop and come back around. All right. Thank you, everybody.
I was just going to say, for sure, you'll see me in the comments. I'll be watching.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see everybody soon.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks again, Richard.
End stream. I said live.